Hi, welcome back to video 3 in the Social Security series. So let's get started. What I want to do is explain that Social Security planning cannot be made unless all the pieces are understood. It's very important. And I just asked the question, are you planning for the reduction in Social Security? We learned in the other section that in 2033 there's going to be a reduction in Social Security. So the question is, are you planning for that? Because that idea or that problem or concern is going to be really mitigated or made worse by your planning that you're doing today. So it's important that you understand how all these pieces fit together. So what we're going to do is give you some basics. We're going to look at Social Security for 2016. The wage base, in other words, what you're paying tax on Social Security is up to $118,000. After that, you're no longer paying any Social Security tax, you're just paying the Medicare tax. If you're a W-2, if you're an employee, you're paying half at 6.2%. Your employer is paying the other half. If you're self-employed or you get 1099 income, then you're paying the full 12.4% of your earnings. Now, the maximum benefit that you can collect under Social Security for this year, for 2016, is $2,639. Now, that is the maximum benefit. The average benefit for all workers is about $1,341, and for married couples, it's $2,212. Now, when you consider planning, when you look at what things you need to help you do your plan, you need to look at your complete wage history, approximately your desired retirement age. When would you like to retire? Estimate your life expectancy. It's kind of difficult, but you need to get a rough idea. Also, one of the things that I consider fairly important, what if a spouse passes sooner? There's a lot of changes to Social Security in there. Also, again, we're going to talk about that Social Security benefit cut. Make sure that's planned in there. If you have any minor children, that also would be information that you need because they would be entitled to some benefits. Then you need to look at other sources of your income, any IRA type accounts, non-IRA accounts, any kind of pensions or different areas. Also, you need to look at the 5 risks, which we very, very briefly will touch on: taxes, healthcare costs, sequence of returns, longevity, and inflation, and then ultimately systematic risk. And the question is, as you tie all these pieces together, the 6-step process really helps you make some good Social Security choices. Now, a lot of folks know, it's pretty straightforward, that if you wait longer to collect your Social Security, you're going to get more dollars. But the question is this: is this waiting, or is the waiting going to make a difference in actually how much you receive? The answer is yes. The longer you wait, the more you're going to get. But you have to be very careful and decide if it's going to have any effect on means testing and on your MAGI. It's the modified adjusted gross income. So these are the important factors, because we all know that if you take it at 62, you're not going to get as much, or you're going to get less, obviously, if you take it at 62 than if you take it at 63, 4, 5, or at 70. But the thing that's important is, if you're waiting to collect more money, is that wait going to be hurt or mitigated by extra taxes you're going to pay, and or your modified adjusted gross income is going to affect your Medicare. So as we look here, we're going to see a very simple formula. At age 62, you're going to get about $1,500 a month, which is approximately $18,000 for the course of a year. At full retirement age, we know that the benefit is $2,000. And if you go to 70, again, we learned a little bit in the past that you get that benefit. Remember, the 8% growth is only if your full retirement age is 66. So assuming it is 66, we're going to see a growth over that number. So if we waited for the 2640 number, we may find that, wow, I didn't realize that now I'm paying a lot of other extra cost in there. So when you look at waiting on your Social Security, you have to look at the total costs and the opportunities for having different things in different areas. What is the effect going to be? Now, one of the things that I think is actually was a very good benefit, which we got taken away from us, is that they call it file and suspend. What basically this means, if you were born before May of 1950, you had until this past May, May of 1st of 2016, to do this, what they call a file and suspend. What it basically meant is this. Let's use the husband and wife, the husband being the older. The husband at 66 would file and suspend his benefits. Now, the advantage to that was that he would be able to get the delayed retirement credits, which is that growth, remember, after age 66 up to age 70. And remember, again, it has to be full retirement age of 66. The benefit would be he would get a 132% increase of his benefit from age 66 waited to 70. But the best part of it was the spouse could file for her benefit and let hers grow to age 70. So she would get half of his benefit while her benefit was continuing to grow. The problem was this benefit was now snatched away, and if you didn't file or if you weren't age 66 by this past June, you have lost that benefit. It's gone and never be getting back. File and suspend benefits is available. Now, I just said file and suspend was taken away. The confusion starts, and unfortunately, Social Security makes it a little difficult. File and suspend for spousal benefits what was taken away. File and suspend, so a lot of times people say, oh, file and suspend's gone, or I don't have advantage of using that option. The answer is that's not necessarily true. File and suspend for individuals is available. So if we take a look at two different scenarios here, filing for benefits at 62 but before age 70, you can start your payments. And for whatever reason, you decide that I made a mistake, I went back to work, I don't need the money right away, or whatever happened, you decide that you want to withdraw. You can do that. What you need to do is, file with Social Security. You're going to pay back all your benefits, and it's going to be like you never started them. So your benefits will continue to grow as they would had you never stopped. Now, it's interesting because you have an option if you decide to take it. Let's use, for example, at age 62. You start to collect before your full retirement age. And for whatever reason, a year has passed. And you realize, I kind of made a mistake, or maybe you went back to work, or you got some, whatever it may be, some extra money, consulting, and you decided, I made a mistake. But you're stuck until age 66. At age 66, you can now file, which you already did, which you can suspend those benefits, which simply means the benefits will stop at full retirement age, and then they can pick up any time after that. It could be 67, 68, 69. If you wait to age 70, you're going to get that 32% increase in growth in your account. One of the other benefits that were left in or after the law changes were what they call a file a restricted application. And a filing a restricted application, it's actually a pretty nice feature. The only problem is that you must have been 62 by January 1st of 2016. If you were not age 62, if you turned 62 a few days after January 5th or something like that, this option is not available. So if you were fortunate enough to be 62 at that January 1st deadline, then you'll have an option to collect on a spousal benefit where you can let your own benefit continue to grow. The basic premise here is that simply you're going to file a restricted application, which means your benefit will continue to grow. In other words, if you're 66, you'll get that 32% increase over the benefit, but you now have kind of, I'm going to use the term loosely, suspended. Really, you're not collecting your own benefit, but you're collecting a spousal benefit. At which point you can let that money grow anytime up till age 70, which you're forced to take your own benefit back. But you have to be careful. Slightly different than the file and suspend is the first spouse or the other spouse must file to be eligible for a restricted application. So basically, both spouses have to file. One can file restricted and get a spousal benefit, and the other is going to get their regular benefit. So it's a little bit confusing, but it's a very, very short window of opportunity. You had to be 62, and that benefit obviously will expire over the next 4 years. Some of the changes that happened with the new act that came in at the beginning of the year, we had talked about, I believe in the earlier slides, about writing these terms down taxes, and deeming is one of them. So what they did is they made some changes to deeming, which are very important, that were very different than in the past. What happened prior to the law change is prior to age 66, if you decided to take a spousal benefit, this is prior to your age 66. If you decided to take a spousal benefit, you would have been deemed to take part of your own retirement benefit as well as a spousal benefit. After age 66, which is the bad, you no longer had that problem. You could take a spousal benefit and let your own benefit continue to grow, and you never had a problem as long as you were after age 66 or your full retirement age. What's changed now? It really kind of hurt a lot, except for a very, very small limited people that have the ability to do a restricted application. If you are prior to age 66 or after age 66, deeming now applies all the time. So anytime you opt to take a spousal benefit, you will be deemed to take your own benefit as well. So what that does is it's a blend. You don't get two full benefits. Whatever the higher benefit is, you technically get that. Now, Social Security refers to it as a blending. I basically say it's you lose one benefit, you don't get both. Very simply, whatever the higher benefit is, you get that amount, and whatever the lower benefit is, it's totally lost. But Social Security likes to candy coat and say, well, we're going to give you your own benefit, and we'll give you part of a spousal benefit. We'll blend it, but the numbers work out that you're only getting the higher of the two benefits. What we're going to take a look at is some switching strategies. Now, when you look at this, we're dealing with people of all different age groups. If you were age 66 by the beginning of the year, you have certain benefits, and we call these, we talked about the three different kind of retirees: the lucky, the not so lucky, and the totally out of luck. These folks were the lucky ones, and very simply, if you look at the blue boxes, Tom will file at age 66. He'll suspend his benefits. Now, this is what was done for the last 15, 16 years when a lot of folks were planning on their Social Security benefits. This is how the planning was done. He would let his benefit grow at the 8% per year, which we learned. And then again, it would happen at age 70. He would have a 132% increase over his benefit from 66. Now, in the red boxes, Nancy, his spouse, would file a restricted application because she was 62, and she would get a 50% spousal benefit. The advantage under the old rules is that she would now get that, and her benefit would continue to grow. So in this particular example, we're showing Tom's benefit. It was $2,000. Her full retirement benefit would be $1,000. So in this case, Nancy would get the $1,000 a month plus any COLAs, if there were any included in those 4 years, for that total of 4 years. Meanwhile, her benefit is continuing to grow as well as Tom's. Now, she flips the switch at age 70. She now goes to her own benefit, which is increased 132%. And Tom turns on his benefit, obviously, 2 years early because he's 2 years older, and he'll get his full benefit at age 70. So this here was a good strategy plan that really maximized their Social Security dollars. Now, if you look at the dollars, you'll see with year 5, $33,600. Tom is getting that benefit because he's age 70. That's his retirement benefit. But if you look to the right where Nancy's benefit is, you see the $12,000. So it's showing you there at 66, 67, 68, and 69 with the ages, that $12,000, $12,200, $12,485, $12,734. That's Nancy's benefit that was increased slightly by COLA. So if you look at the numbers, this was a really great way to plan. Now, for most folks, these options are not available, or at least not as lucrative as they were before. it becomes so difficult because everyone's plan is different and how all the pieces fit together. Now, a perfect case in point is I was 62 by January of this past year, so I have the ability or have the option to file a restricted application. So that's a good thing. The only problem is my wife is 4 years younger. So if she files at age 66, I have the option now to file a restricted application and collect the spousal benefit. The only problem is I will be age 70. So I don't have that. So technically, I have the ability to do a restricted application because of my age, but I don't have it in practical purposes because of the difference in spousal ages. So what we try to do is explain that everyone's plan is so unique and so different. It's important to know that if you file and make a mistake, you had that 1 year to change as a do-over, which is okay. The only problem that I think happens is it gets so confusing, like in the case I just explained. I have the ability to file and restrict this, so I'm thinking I can do that, I get a benefit, and in actuality I can't. So as we go through the process, we'll learn it's very, very important to look at that Social Security report and to see how all the pieces, fit together. That's basically the end of Section 3. Let's do a quick review of the highlights. There was a lot of stuff in this section as well. We talked very briefly about the Social Security basics, items to consider when planning. Remember, the longer you wait, the more you get. We learned that there's a file and suspend that's gone. Then we also learned the file and suspend that's not gone. We learned a little bit about restricted applications, how to use switching strategies, and I just want to bring this up. I did not address it in the slides, but if you have minor children, there's benefits that they're entitled to, or if you have a child that's under age 18, which is considered a minor child, and a parent passes away, there's a whole benefit package I'd love to get out to you. If you just give me a call or an email, we'll make sure you get that package.
Hi, I'm excited. You're now done with part 3 in your video series. You're making progress. As you progress a little further, I may ask you to help co-author some of my next books because of all the experience you're getting. Again, take advantage if you can or have questions of the Q&A, which is very important. Keep reviewing if you have to, any of your handouts, as well as you can always back up and replay some of the sections. So looking forward to seeing you at the end of Section 4. Thank you very much.